What to do? I'm Matt Guff from House.com, and this is a 2020 Ride Helix Snowboard, an all-mountain freestyle deck that's a hard charger, lightweight, and it's for intermediate to advanced level riders. This is one deck that I point a lot of people to that feel that they're kind of plateaued in their ability as an intermediate level rider. So if you want to like really step it up and kind of jump into a new realm of athleticism in riding and kind of take your skills to a totally different universe, the Helix is one of those decks. And again, specifically, this is the deck that I point most people to who find themselves in that kind of area of their riding. This is an asymmetrical twin style deck, which is pretty unique. It's a twin board. The nose and tail are the exact same shape, but it's asymmetrical, meaning that your left foot goes here, your right foot goes there. So if you're regular foot, you ride it this way. If you're goofy foot, you ride it this way. And it's asymmetrical in the sense that the heel side side cut radiuses are smaller than what you'll find in the toe side side cut radiuses, meaning that's actually a lot easier to ride your heel side edge. And another cool thing I found about the Helix and another board that has some asymmetry from the ride line called the Twin Pig is that if you like snapping frontside spins off your heel side edge, they come a lot easier when the side cut radiuses are just a touch smaller, which is pretty cool. And this is a very explosive style board. It's a lot more aggressive than a lot of boards kind of under it in terms of like price point and kind of category. Now with all that is of course the centered stance, centered side cut radiuses, of course, and what Ride calls a twin hybrid camber profile shape. It's pretty similar to the twin hybrid rocker profile shape. There's a larger camber section of the board. As you see, it has hella camber. There's actually quite a bit of a rise that you see there, and the contact points have just a little bit of rocker, not as big as what you find in the twin hybrid rocker profiles like you find in the Twin Pig, I believe. But for the most part, this is going to feel like a camber dominant board, or feel like a true camber style deck, but the upturn is just slight, so a little less catchy than full camber, but it still has loads and loads of energy, even though there's not a lot of crazy stuff inside. Sure, there's a lot of great construction materials, additional laminates, but it does feature like a kind of like a pushback when you give it input quite a bit more. The feel and flex rating of the Helix about a 6, and of course, because it's a twin deck, it's going to have the same flex on the nose and the tail. The 6 does provide a lot of energy. This board is stable at high speeds, and I found that a lot of jumpers and even pipe riders tend to really enjoy this deck. You know, if I was going to jump a lot, I'd probably be on this one because it is explosive without being way too stiff. Now, the Helix has a performance style wood core. It's a combination of the strong wood aspen, poppy, bamboo, and of course the extremely lightweight paulownia. And then there's hybrid glass, Biax glass that's pliable on bottom. Isn't this a sweet graphic? This is probably one of my most favorite bases of the 2020 season, along with the War Pig. And then there's Tri-X glass up on top to kind of give it a little bit more energy. And then there's double impact plates to make the board a little bit more strong in those crease areas caused by the bindings. And then there's also the roll-in sidewalls, and these roll-in sidewalls again provide greater strength without adding a lot of weight, and they work well with the urethane style slime walls. The slime walls actually flex the same in really cold temperatures as they do in really warm temperatures. Then there's basically just one additional laminate to it that helps the board to be a little bit more damp despite it having kind of a lot of energy, and that's the slime rods. Now I think Ride is kind of like stepping slightly away from slime rods. There's a couple boards that feature it, but not as many as Ride had in, like, I believe previous seasons. Slime rods are a sandwich urethane of carbon. So it's urethane, same material that you find in the sidewalls, sandwiched by carbon on top and on bottom, and that kind of run parallel to the edges in the nose and the tail areas close to the bindings, and that again provides a nice damp feel with added energy where you need it most to snap those high ollies. The base is, of course, centered. This is done, I can't remember the graphic, who did the graphic, but the way that they did it is they kind of do this digital smearing. So they take a photo or get a graphic and they kind of digitally smear, and that's what you find on top too, with that kind of a controlled burn of a house, which is pretty cool. But this is a sintered style base that does have a very deep groove structure to it with its base grind or its stone grind. That's kind of one thing that Ride's pushing a lot for the season, their stone grind bases. But as you keep it maintained throughout the season, make sure to keep that structure clear of wax and debris by brushing it out after you wax and ride. And then of course there's that asymmetrical quadratic style side cut radiuses. On both the toe edge and the heel edge, there's a smaller side cut radius in between the feet for quick cross under carves, and larger ones on the nose and tail for easy exits and initiations, and those big sweeping crossed over carves. But the difference between the heel side edge and toe side edge is that the side cut radiuses on the heels are going to be just a little bit smaller than what you find on the toes. There's a 360 wrap standard steel edge. I don't believe this actually has the cleaved edge, but overall though, if you're again a rider who really feels like you're kind of like plateaued in a level of your riding and really want to kind of take it up a notch, you want to put some effort into getting a lot better, the Helix is that board. But again, if you're a beginner, you probably want to stay away from this because it's an aggressive deck, feeling flex of a 6, hella pop because that real camber dominant profile shape. This is a dope one, has been and always will be. This is the 2020 Ride Helix, and you can check it out at thehouse.com by selecting the link below in the description. Leave me a comment or question. Let me know what you think of the deck. Subscribe to the channel there. Check out more vids there, and hopefully I'll see you on snow. Peace.